As of late, H3H3's Ethan Klein and Hasan have been arguing quite a lot lately. And I find it interesting because a lot of content has been coming out about these two arguing. We have Destiny analyzing both Hasan and Ethan's arguments.
The solution to that would always be education and
re-education camps.
offering more
re-education.
As well as other content creators such as Turkey Tom, he's been giving his takes as well. But especially Destiny, because every single time Destiny makes a piece of content on Hasan or Ethan, I can't help but kick my feet up and toss popcorn into my mouth, because you know the Hasan fans are going to come out and creatively demonstrate why Destiny and Ethan have IQs and fractions with common denominators. Like for instance, this fan right here has done the math for us. So we're going to listen to him because he showed his work. So this should be pretty interesting.
This Destiny guy has to be a psyop. There's like literally no other explanation. Without fail, every time Hasan does anything, he like literally this was within 2 minutes. He responds. It's crazy. He's like, oh, I don't cover the breaking news, when Hasan was like, you know, doing stuff about Gaza, right?
Like what's your point, Destiny?
Actually, Hasan has said he doesn't cover breaking news.
And then look at the little tiny picture of Destiny. I love it. Like if I could, I would have that as a keychain. But I also want to go ahead and explore Hasan's fans' thought process because it's extremely unique. Check it out.
This is every Destiny fan. They'll like literally watch a hospital get bombed and be like, I'm not sure if that was actually true or not. I'll need a source for that. And like, this is a psyop. It has to be. He's like designed. He's the centrist designed in a lab. I need time to gather all the facts. Dude, do you know how quick this kind of thing happens? It's like we don't have time to like... He's a plant. He has to be.
We don't have time to... Wait, but the thing is, you do have time. You're a streamer. We sit here and do nothing. It's not going to change if you wait a day or two. Why was I linked this? This is so stupid.
Listen, I don't know what Destiny's talking about. This Hasan fan actually makes much more sense if you actually cover your ears and you repeat la 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 la. But on a more serious note, I do want to go ahead and draw a dichotomy. Not every Hasan fan is like that. As a matter of fact, I've had Hasan fans come to my channel and they give pretty measured takes. And a lot of them are pretty respectful, which I really appreciate. But we're not going to be talking about those Hasan fans because they're pretty measured. And a good portion of those too far gone Hasan fans, they're not really taking matters calmly. If anything, it's a lot of reactionary behavior. And what better way to analyze a Hasan fan's take than to actually break down this little small segment of the video where they talk about the truther and the concluder. Now, as we have here this meme, the wait for facts truther as compared to the immediate concluder, which some people tend to fall under the immediate concluder. Now, I do also want to mention that this is also a meme, because if you take a look at some of the details, has seen a lot of Marvel movies, or even my favorite, Fragile, could be killed with bare hands. So I think it's also important that we point out that it's also a meme, but there is a lot of truth to this meme, because if you take a look at some of the details, instantly forms opinions to fit narrative, doubles down no matter what, doesn't read past the headlines before concluding, proved wrong but point still stands anyway. Like, this is a good portion of people. As you're gonna see in this post here, where you can see that Melina ended up licking somebody that I'm not aware of, I don't know his name, but you can see that Destiny just pulls them apart. And then the post reads, Destiny hates Arab people, thus doesn't support Palestine because his girl licked an Arab dude once and it's been on site with them ever since. Question, do you set your alarm clocks in case your legs fall asleep? I don't know if you're being serious or not, but if you are serious, I think that this is probably a dumb post. No, it is a dumb post. And this is another post provided by a too far gone Hasan fan, and it reads, discovered the issue 2 weeks ago. Studies for 2 weeks, comes out with the same solution the British came up with in 1948. Doesn't work. And this is what it's referring to.
What do you think the solution would maybe be?
There has to be some sort of probably two-state solution with the United States mediating, where every other Arab country comes to the table and agrees with Israel.
Why would the United States mediate?
Because Israel can't be the only person on their side of that conversation.
Whether you agree with Destiny or not, that totally depends on your politics. All I'm concerned about is the fact that this post is a faulty generalization, which if you look up the definition, it means making a claim based on evidence that is just too small. So an example of this would be if one meets a rude person from a given country X, one may suspect that most people in that country X are rude. To conclude with the idea comes up with the same solution the British came up with in 1948. This person has left out a lot of variables that they're not accounting for. Like for instance, US has a lot of influence in the world, in terms of military power is one of the world leaders. And another thing is that this person is suggesting that the British came up with a solution that was perhaps the best solution ever to be conceived of, and it did not work. But to me, I ask myself, you know, did the British have the best solution? Or could the US potentially have an even better solution? These are things that you have to kind of ask yourself before you kind of post stuff like that. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the H3 podcast, because believe it or not, Too Far Gone Hasan fans have been somewhat harassing Ethan Klein to the point where Ethan wanted to pause Leftovers because of the amount of harassment that he's been receiving.
Ethan, is Leftovers done for good? I wouldn't say it's done for good. All I said is that it's, you know, I would like to take a pause from it. That's all. I don't really even know what I did other than like try to talk about how horrible Hamas is. But that enough turns people into just the meanest I've ever seen them. And it's just not worth it for me and my family.
And sometimes you can see it even in their own H3 subreddit, where you will have, I don't know if they're Too Far Gone Hasan fans, but some people who obviously support Palestine, they'll post this and make it absolutely clear that they're totally against what Ethan Klein supports. But not only will they make it clear that they don't support Ethan, they will also say stuff along the lines of, embarrassed to have ever supported these guys. And you can read down below here that that's what it says. They will also talk about how Hila has served in the IDF, and then they won't even believe the fact that she was just working a desk job. Instead, what they're gonna do is they're gonna fabricate all of these details or even sharpshoot, and they will start creating this narrative that, oh, she was going out there and eliminating Palestinian kids. And what's crazy is that there used to be an animation on YouTube where it showcased exactly that, her eliminating all of these Palestinian kids. And that animation was taken down because it promoted terrorism. I mean, yeah, look at the face. Like, this is like a slasher face. Obviously, this isn't the type of face you want to make when you're posing for a family photo. And I know there's going to be some people who are going to bring up Ethan's past, like this post here that brings up how Ethan used to talk about religious communities, Americans, and how this karma is very much deserved. And to a degree, I agree. One of the times that I can remember was when he was trying to bring a fresh and fit potential victim onto the podcast and attempted to make Myron look like a bad guy, look like a creep.
This is very bad. This is a very disturbing story, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, but at that point,
I think he may have assaulted you. I mean, at this point, I
mean, I don't want to say that, but like, again, like, it was my experience.
He also implicationed you a little bit too, the way they split you guys up, and
yeah,
I think you got implicationed. I think you got Dennis systemed.
And by the looks of the comments, you can see that a lot of people were not happy about this, because a lot of them were upset at the fact that they had to defend Fresh and Fit. And a lot of those people were H3 fans. So I'm not surprised when I see extremists or Too Far Gone Hasan fans to quote Qui Ethan, because I mean, you have examples here, and so some people have that belief of, oh, well, you know, karma is the best medicine. However, I do want to go ahead and mention that I am not a proponent of tu quote qui, which essentially means discussion technique that attempts to discredit an opponent's argument by attacking their personal behavior and actions as being inconsistent with their argument. Because if you take a look at the Ethan situation, Ethan is coming out and saying, oh, well, you know, I don't want to do leftovers anymore because people are just super mean. People will come out and say, oh, well, you're one to talk. I mean, you participated in this kind of behavior for the longest, so you helped foster this type of behavior. Like this one instance where he was talking about Ben Shapiro and the Holocaust.
YouTube just nuked Ethan Klein's H3 podcast, with this all seeming to stem from Ethan saying he was going to make a joke about Ben Shapiro and then saying,
if they start rounding up the Jews again, I hope Ben gets gassed first.
So viewers and people can look at that and say, oh, well, look who's being mean. You're the one who's being mean. So you want to talk about that? Bro, fix yourself first. You know, they'll say something like that. I do think that personally, in some way, Ethan, him leaving leftovers, I feel like that says a lot more about what's going on. And the idea behind that is that nobody's willing to listen to each other because everybody wants to say, oh no, well, my influencer is right, your influencer is wrong, or my ideas are right and your ideas are wrong. My sources are right, your sources are wrong. Like that's what I feel is like going on with this whole Ethan situation. So I think that a lot of people are missing the point, and you're gonna have to judge what you think is appropriate in this situation. Because honestly, for me to tell you guys, I presented my information, but I'm sure that some people are going to look at this information and say, oh, you're obviously biased. You go more for Ethan or you're more for Hasan, when that's not the case at all. I just try to point out to you guys that, listen, I think that we have a problem here, and I think that it's a bias problem, a problem where we are way too invested emotionally instead of logically thinking about this and understanding a solution to the problem. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm trying to say. The big picture is, you know, just be respectful. The Hasan fans are not as bad as you guys think they are. It's just those extremists that are just making them look bad. And oftentimes those extremists, they can blur the lines of what it's like to be a fan and what it's like to be an extremist that has the title of being a fan, but really is just there because one influencer said one thing that this extremist liked and they align with. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it here, guys. Go ahead, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's all I have for you guys, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.